Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Tel Aviv. Coming up in today's newscast, the U.S. ambassador to Israel slams Israeli policy. Israeli leaders are concerned about the Islamic State, and Argentinians rally for justice on behalf of the Jewish community. I'm Natasha Kirchuk here with the latest news in Israel. The manhunt for the murder of terror victim Daphne Meir is over. Police have finally caught and arrested the teenage suspect. 16-year-old Morad Abed Abdullah Adais was found hiding in an Arab village near Otniel. The suspect was arrested by soldiers from the elite Duvdevan unit after extensive operational and intelligence efforts. Adais is suspected of entering Meir's home and stabbing her to death before fleeing the scene, and he's reportedly confessed to carrying out the attack. Tensions are rising between Israel and the United States, following some controversial accusations by U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Dan Shapiro. Shapiro has charged that Israel is employing a double legal standard in the West Bank. The ambassador claims that Israeli authorities fail to investigate attacks on Palestinians to the same extent that they investigate attacks against Israelis.
Too many attacks on Palestinians, lack of vigorous investigation or response by Israeli authorities. Too much vigilantism goes unchecked, and at times there seem to be two standards of adherence to the rule of law, one for Israelis and another for Palestinians.
Shapiro says the Obama administration is concerned and perplexed by the Israeli settlement policy, saying it raises questions about Israel's long-term intentions. Prime Minister Netanyahu has responded by describing Shapiro's comments as unacceptable, incorrect, and inappropriate. He claims Israel enforces a law equally for Israelis and Palestinians, and blames the Palestinian Authority for the freeze in peace negotiations. Israeli leaders are growing more and more concerned about the threat of the Islamic State against Israel. IDF Chief of Staff Brigadier General Gadi Eisenkot says that Islamic State battleground setbacks in Syria have increased the chance of an attack on Israel and Jordan. Eisenkot says that ISIS has stepped up its attacks abroad in recent months and has also issued public threats towards Israel.
ההצלחות נגד דאעש מעלות בעיניי את הסבירות שאנחנו נראה אותם מפנים את הקנים גם כלפינו וגם כלפי הירדנים. המרחב השקט היום, המרחב הבטוח, הוא המרחב שגובל בגבול ירדן וגבול ישראל, שם לא מתבצעות תקיפות, ושם יש כוחות של דאעש ושל ג'יהאד עולמי שחיים את יומם. הם נלחמים אחד עם השני, אבל בסך הכל הם לא חווים את מה שחווה הארגון, גם ג'יהאד עולמי וגם דאעש, בתוך סוריה.
Meanwhile, President Ruvi Rivlin is calling on the Israeli government to approve new funding for Israeli Arab communities to counter the growing influence of the Islamic State in Israel. Rivlin says that ISIS's influence is on the rise within the Arab-Israeli community.
מחקרים, מעצרים, עדויות וניתוחים גלויים וסמויים, חלקם שנעשו כאן במכון, מצביעים בבירור על אהדה גוברת והולכת ואף על הצטרפות ממשית לדאעש בתוככי ערביי ישראל. מי שמכיר את החברה הערבית יודע כי בשנים האחרונות יש הקצנה גדולה מאוד בכמה יישובים בדואים בנגב וערביים בצפון, בכל הנוגע ליישום חוקי השריעה. גם מקומות וקבוצות שזוהו כחילוניים מושפעים כיום מרעיונות קיצוניים.
He believes Israel must offer an alternative to the Arab public, which requires a meaningful financial investment. Last month, the cabinet passed an estimated 15 billion shekel plan for development in Arab communities, but the funding has not been finalized. Thousands gathered in Buenos Aires last night to call for justice at the memorial for the slain Jewish Argentinian prosecutor Alberto Nisman. The rally for justice comes just a year after Nisman's mysterious death. Nisman was found dead just a day before he was due to testify about Iran's role in the 1994 Amia bombing against Argentina's Jewish community. 85 people were killed in the fatal attack, and the prosecutor had identified the Hezbollah suicide bomber and traced the bombing back to Iran. He was about to testify against former Argentinian President Cristina Kirchner for covering up Iran's responsibility, but then he was found with a bullet in his head. His shooting death was originally ruled a suicide, but many claim he was assassinated.
40 millones de argentinos necesitamos una sociedad pacífica para superar las diferencias que nos aquejan. 40 millones de argentinos queremos saber cómo se disparó el arma y quién lo hizo.
Si matan a un fiscal o se suicida un fiscal, el tema es que se debe investigar y que tiene que actuar la justicia. Sino, ¿qué garantías tenemos como ciudadanos cualquiera de nosotros? Yo tengo nietos.
No olvidar a alguien que luchó por la justicia, que es una cosa que lamentablemente es muy rara en nuestro país. Entonces, para que esto sirva de ejemplo, para que las futuras generaciones también luchen por esta justicia que es tan rara.
Argentina's Jewish community has become more hopeful that justice will be served since a recent change in the country's government. In December, Mauricio Macri was voted in as the new president of Argentina. Macri has already voided Argentina's previous agreement with Iran to jointly investigate the AMIA attack. Yesterday, Macri met with Nisman's daughters to offer condolences in an effort to show the new government's determination to investigate his murder. Well, it might seem shocking, 1% of the world's adult population stutters. Yet most people who stutter live in the closet. Thankfully, a new Israeli company is helping transform their lives. Moshe Rott is the founder of Novotalk, and he joins us with more. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Natasha.
So what is Novotalk? Tell us about it.
The story of Novotalk begins with me. I was diagnosed as a person who stutters when I was 3 years old. And my stuttering is severe spasms of the jaw, choking, can't breathe, and involuntary movements of my hands and legs, and practically a joined a behavior that for all people who stutter, that just trying to avoid any conversation or speaking scenario. And I went to many treatments around Israel, and nothing helped. And my family spent insane amounts of money on treatments, but nothing seemed to help the stuttering. When I was 22 years old, I started my degree in Tel Aviv University in computer engineering. And in my first semester, I experienced the same thing as in high school, that I could not participate in classes, could not speak with friends on the break, even in the cafeteria when I wanted to ask for tea, so I couldn't say tea. I just had to point, and the stewardess needed to guess what I wanted, and most of the times I just got coffee. So I went to a very unique kind of treatment in Israel, and it's also available in small places around the world, with intense treatment with fluency shaping. Fluency shaping is basically a motor skill that changes the way a person who stutters approaches speaking. What I'm doing now, I'm just using this method. I'll explain more later. But I went to this treatment in Hadassah hospital in Jerusalem. This is an intense treatment of 3 weeks. And what happened after a week and a half, that I went back home from Jerusalem, and I picked up the phone and I ordered a pizza. Wow. Not because I was hungry, but because I could do that for the first time in my life. And this was a life-changing treatment for me and for all people that are going through this treatment. Fluency shaping is a well-known treatment. It is known for 40 years in the United States and around the world. And it's highly effective for us. And after the treatment, after a few weeks, my stuttering came back, because it's a motor skill that you have to practice with the right feedback, the right audio feedback, and monitoring. And my stuttering came back. Even today, if I don't practice like for 2 weeks, my stuttering comes back. The spasms and the choking, everything comes back full power. And but stuttering is a condition. It's not an illness. So understand you have to practice with these tools to achieve fluency.
So in regards to practicing, what did you do? I mean, this is what your company is based on, right? Is the need to continue that process when you get home, correct?
Right. After the treatment, I saw I couldn't maintain the fluency. So I created some simple monitor for myself, which helped for a few years. About 2 years ago, I joined with my partners, which are speech-language pathologists, and we created Novotalk, which is actually about 3 issues. One, the effectiveness of the treatment is much higher with the proper technology which we deliver. The second one is the availability of this treatment. Today, effective and intense treatments are available in a few places around the world. Most of the people who stutter aren't able to go there and get the treatment. And the cost. Today in the States, this treatment starts from $5,000, and same here in Israel. And we want, with technology, and we can make it much more affordable for these people.
So what is the difference between Novotalk and other similar technologies, other than Praise, obviously?
Yeah, Novotalk is one place to get this treatment, to learn it, and to maintain it after the knowledge is transferred to the user. A person comes with no knowledge of fluency shaping, and he learns it online today with our professionals supervising in the back, and he can maintain it eventually on its own for many years to come.
That's huge. And so who can use your technology? Is it accessible for everyone?
Today we're specifying on adults and above 10 years old adolescents, and it's very highly effective for those people because it's available and the feedback is so much better than what exists today. So the treatment is much more effective for them. They're able to be more fluent than in the common, well-known frontal treatments.
Since stuttering is so common, like we said before, 1% of the world suffers from stuttering. There are probably people who stutter who are watching our show.
Yeah.
And you know, if you could send them one message from the platform that you're on right now, what would it be?
What I saw in the last couple of years is that there is lots of things that a person who stutters can do, and there are ways to manage stutter. This is not the end of the world, and one can live with stuttering perfectly a normal life today.
Well, you know, with the new technology that you guys are offering, I'm sure that that's even more true than ever. So I hope that our viewers, you know, check it out if they need it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Natasha.
For the first time ever, a male Taekwondo fighter will be representing Israel in the Olympics. Taekwondo champion Ron Atias is headed to the 2016 Olympics in Rio. Atias became the first Israeli male to qualify for the Games after winning the qualification tournament in Turkey. He'll be Israel's third ever representative at the Olympics for Taekwondo, following Maya Arusi, who competed for Israel in the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games. Atias is one of 18 Israeli athletes that will compete in the upcoming Olympics. It's time for our Hebrew word of the day. I hope you guys are prepared to learn one of the most difficult but commonly used phrases in Israel, davka. Davka kind of means actually, but the truth is that davka doesn't really have a direct translation into English. That's why it's a little harder for me to explain its meaning to you. Davka originates from Aramaic, and here are some of its meanings. If your Israeli friend goes on a date and she tells you, "Udafka nachmad," which means he's actually pretty nice, she's probably saying her date didn't go as badly as she thought it would. Now here's a totally different scenario. If you were too lazy to do the dishes and your Israeli roommate tells you, "Atasit et ze b'dafka," which means you did it on purpose, he's definitely offended. He's trying to say that you were lazy on purpose and maybe even spiteful. So when you come visit Israel, stay alert when you hear Davka, because a popular Israeli term could be very positive or very negative. It's Davka important to know the difference. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather forecast. There should be light showers tomorrow with a high of 61 degrees. The rain is supposed to clear up by Wednesday night, and Thursday should be partly cloudy with a high of 66. All right, everybody, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.96 shekels to the American dollar. Remember to sign up for our daily newsletter at ILTV.tv. And don't forget to check out our new breaking newscast every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.